Okay, hi everyone, it's BDevine. I hope that everyone is happy and well wherever you are. Now, today I'm going to talk a little bit about understanding and reversing a downward spiral, what that might look like for you, how this can come up to interfere with us and our pathway, and how we can then push ourselves onto the right timeline. So I'm making this video because I was doing a transmission this morning, and this is exactly what was happening to somebody as I was doing the transmission. And I was able to sort of articulate in a different way why this might be occurring, where you're almost there, or you're in a place where you're waiting for, in this person's case it's a job, and keep on getting halfway there and then nothing happens, or interviews and then they're getting the wrong idea, and it just feels like the person is going through a lot of different emotions. So this is for those of you who want to know why, even if you are of course doing your protections, we have our firewall up, etc. Even when you're doing this and you're remaining positive and you're keeping your breath work going, that you still might get some things coming up in your way to block the timeline that you are actually trying to manifest into your life. Okay, so this may really help you. This is a psychological point of view and how it works into our flame work. So if you're new here, my name is BDevine. I have been around on YouTube since 2010. Okay, so a long time on YouTube. And there are plenty of things here for you if you are a beginner to mysticism, spirituality, and you're opening up to these things. There's also courses that are free. You can also have a phone call with me and I can help you, as well as create for you your own transmission based on what we were talking about, with your own protocols, etc., just for you. You can also go through and look at all the different things that I've been teaching over the years. As we move into flame sovereignty, we're actually becoming much, much, much more powerful than we ever were with our whole spiritual journey. Okay, so if you're looking for something new, or you feel called to something, so it's just not sitting with you, if you feel called to something that is going to help you in just about every way to become the strongest version of yourself, then this is the place for you. Okay, so let's do this. All right, I've got my notes here. This is going to help you to shift back into your sovereignty and onto the path. It's not about fixing brokenness. It's about understanding the natural collapse response of the nervous system and the flame field, okay? And we apply this, all right, into higher scroll-based restoration. So scrolls are soul documents, okay? All right, what is this whole spiraling down? I'm going to give you some examples. It's not weakness, it is a full system contraction, okay? It's triggered by threat, disappointment, or even exhaustion. The mind recycles old storylines to protect you from further pain, okay? It often occurs after major growth. You think you're on the right track, and then all of a sudden, one thing after the other occurs, and you feel like no matter what you are doing, nothing's working. So then you go back to an old cycle, sometimes subconsciously. So the message here is that spiraling is not failure, it is feedback though, okay? So the psychology of collapse, cognitive distortions, okay? all or nothing thinking and overgeneralizing. Neurochemical shift. Cortisol, which is the stress hormone, right, goes up, and the dopamine comes down. There is a learned helplessness when effort no longer feels worth it, because I'm only going to get to here and all hell's going to break loose, or I'm going to present this and nobody's going to come, or I'm going to say this and nobody's going to listen to me, right? Somewhere in there, fitting you? Okay. Identity regression. So revert to younger versions of ourselves who coped through withdrawing. Okay, well, I'm not going to do any more. I'm not going to do this. I'm just going to pull back. I'm not going to keep pushing. Okay? The energetic mechanics of the spiral. Actually, before I say that, with these different, looking at these different types of collapse here, the mind tries to resolve unprocessed grief by reactivating in some way, subconsciously perhaps, the pain loop, okay? So the energetic mechanics of this is that the aura that everybody has, the energetic field around you, collapses inward. And this means that things are hard to read and interpret. Like, you just feel compressed, right? False narratives and timelines reactivate. False fields whisper these distortions. Saying you can't do that, you might as well just stop now, it's not worth it, you're just going to get stopped, what's the point? All those kinds of things. Things stop flowing. So creation seems like it's drying up, right? Nervous system begins to reject incoming support. In other words, you start, something will come in, it's like, well, you're not going to want what I have to offer, you're not going to want this, it's only going to go this far. So I've got my firewall around and I've got my protection up, but I'm still in this stuck timeline. I'm in this loop. If you overdo things without integration, it will result in a spiritual kind of a burnout. You are building a firewall around you, okay? But it's around this trapped in trauma, okay? So it's all around you. You might misread people's silence as failure when it's often a recalibration as well. So flame expansion, okay? Knowledge expansion, timeline expansion requires a nervous system agreement, being in safety, okay? So we catch the voice. We interrupt this spiral by catching that voice. So a false voice sounds like punishment. You might as well stop right now. Nobody gets it. Stop making all these videos. I hear that. I hear that myself. It's not worth it. You're going downwards. You're not getting anywhere. All that sort of stuff. So we have to catch the voice and we name it. And we say, this is a collapse response. This is not my truth. Okay, this is a false response. This is not my truth. Whatever that is for you. And then we shift the body. Just going outside and taking a walk, being in nature, something like that. Movement, nature, sound, destroys the patterning. Then we reset with the breath, of course, right? So we inhale. This is not the end. We hold. This is a reset. We exhale. I return to my true self. Okay. There's a few questions that you could be asking as well. Like, what am I afraid will happen if I do succeed? or the truth is I still know who I am. This is something that you could ask yourself, like, what is my false thing that I've been saying? Truth is, I know who I am. Anchoring something, it's safe for me to be seen. And the energy here is about catching the pattern and understanding it in a different way. So let's go over this, okay? All right. So let's just go over this again so that you will understand this in a little bit of a different way. The key mechanisms here are that there is a distorted vibe. Okay, your thinking becomes distorted. The mind shifts into all or nothing. Nothing ever works, like I said. I always mess things up. I'm almost there. I'm almost there. It's nearly happening. I'm almost this. I'm almost right. Every time I do this, this happens. This could be things that you're saying to yourself, again, without anybody knowing. It's not like you're advertising where you feel that there's failures in your life, right? The default mode network activation is that the brain reactivates these old storylines and your old narratives, okay, pulling you into the past. No one's going to understand, nobody's going to get it, I'm wasting my time. Those kinds of things. The neurochemical shift is the cortisol spike, stress levels up, dopamine, feel good, right, drops. You feel less reward for effort, leading to disengagement and just pulling back. So I've seen people who made a lot of videos or whatever, and then they weren't getting the answers that they were expecting. And instead of looking at what they're processing within, they just went, that's it, I'm done. And, you know, sometimes we're protecting ourselves by saying, okay, I'm finished. But if you haven't had a little look inside, you might be missing something vital there, right? Okay. Learned helplessness. After repeated stress or perceived failure, the brain adapts by shutting down initiative to avoid further pain. Shutting things down, okay? So some triggers that might happen in this process are perceived rejection is usually the first thing, okay? You're not getting an answer, it's a no, someone's not interested, maybe it's something online, clients, relationships, peers, people that you value their input, their information, just not giving you the answers. So you perceive this as being rejected. Financial uncertainty can come up, or feeling unsupported after giving a lot. You might have been applying for a lot of jobs and you're not getting the answers. Nothing's happening. You got bills piling up and nothing's happening. So you go into this financial uncertainty, which spirals you down away from the goal, right? An energetic false contract. These are draining type of beings or contracts from past lives, perhaps, that they seem in some ways supportive or protective, but they carry inversion, okay? Timeline contradiction, when the external doesn't match the internal progress. And overactivation without anchoring, like I said, doing too much prayers and meditations and resetting and this and that without rest, integration, okay, results. So what happens is that feeling of compression. The flame field, okay, your energetic field, your aura, begins collapsing inward instead of expanding. The time field narrows, so you forget your past victories and lose sight of future possibilities. All you can see is nothing is happening. It's not working. I'm trying. Okay? The invitation opens where someone false or an old energy will whisper to you some sort of comfort saying, just give up on it. You're never meant to be this. It's just too hard. The universe has given you a no. Overthinking overrides the flame voice. So the scroll becomes unreadable. You can't even sense what it is that you're meant to do because there's too much emotional noise, okay? So we catch this. We catch the collapse. This is how we interrupt this spiral, okay? The symptom might be that you start narrating your life as a punishment. So I can't do this anymore. It's too hard. I'm just not supposed to. Nobody's coming. Nobody's listening. Everybody's putting their opinions at me. I'm confused. I don't know which way to go. Okay. Instead of this, you interrupt this process because you know that's false by saying, this is a false thought and it is not mine. It's distorted. It's not mine. Because remember, when we're getting a true signal, it's calm. When we're getting a lot of things happening all at once, it's a distorted signal. It's not the truth. It's just chaos, okay? Then we physically shift our state. We get up, stretch, breath of cold air, putting your hands into some salt or the earth or just into something different. Touch water, move energy out of that cognitive loop and anchor the body so you can stabilize, okay? Then we do the breath. So we're like, this is not the end. We're holding it. This is a reset. And we exhale. I'm returning to myself. Okay? There are some things that you might think when you're spiraling. So you might say, this might be a false story of yours. Where it's like, I'm spiraling because I think that, what is it? I'm spiraling because I think that I'm never going to get anywhere. I'm spiraling because I'm fearful of uncertainty of finances. I'm spiraling because nobody's listening. I'm spiraling because I feel like I'm in danger somewhere. I'm spiraling because I'm afraid of someone else. Okay? Then say to yourself, the lie in this, okay? What's the lie in this? What's the lie in your little, freak out? Okay? It may be that you're not in control. It may be that you fear failure, whatever it is. And what is truer than that is you are in control, you do have choices, and you can stabilize this. And that you have to understand that when your mind is going like this, that you can pull yourself back into steadiness. Understand that our survival systems are pretty powerful. So things in the way in which you've reacted in the past will still continue even when you've had enormous amounts of healing. The key is that it becomes quicker and easier to diagnose and quickly eject. You don't want to accept the things that you don't like. Why would you? Why would you want to accept something as your reality when that's not the reality that you want? And then feel helpless in that reality instead of taking the action to change the situation very quickly. So when you're doing this, it creates a psychological distance from and returns the authority to your true, strong flame voice. So the spiral is not really a descent. It is a spiral inward to collapse those false foundations. And when handled with awareness like this, it becomes for you an absolute upgrade. You start to regain control. Sometimes people's fears are from very, very old contracts and past lives and things like that. And you don't need to know what those contracts and old past lives are. Just that if there's anything that would require you to stop yourself from being all that you can be, or quieting your voice, or not succeeding because you wanted to let somebody else succeed, whatever it is that may be something that's in your way, you simply collapse it down. You simply take your power back through your voice, through your nervous system, okay, and through your awareness. You know, when someone is looking for a job and they keep on not finding one, part of that is a protective measure. But what it does to your brain is start to think that you're not good enough, that it could be 1,000 reasons why you were not chosen, that all of those reasons are something wrong with you, that it's going to be difficult, it's going to be hard because of where you live, or where this and where that. And you can simply start to just give up, withdraw, stop, and, you know, go into, some people even go into depression and things like that because they can't see a way out. This is giving you a way to remind yourself that even when you are completely in your firewall and protected, it doesn't mean that there's still not going to be some echoes of the past that try to thwart your future. And those echoes are within you. It's not something coming at you. These are things that you have, so they're yours to deal with. And so one of the bigger things is, okay, is talking to yourself in a way that strengthens you, and breaking down what it is that you're feeling and changing the reaction to that. By understanding that some of the things that you feel when something happens are related to the past, the past in this life, your parents' past, your ancestral energy, or past lives, or whatever. When you can understand that that still echoes a little bit when something occurs to you that you don't want, when you can understand that, you can become in control of that. Therefore, becoming in control of the timeline that you want to see, the life that you want to live, the future that you're bringing into the here and now. So this is just a reminder. This is a energetic reminder of what can happen to you, literally what triggers a downward spiral, and how you can understand this deeper and simply not accept it as your reality. Doesn't mean things won't come in. It just means that you'll get very quick at removing those things that are not helping you to strengthen, and understanding where they're coming from, okay? And understanding that everyone has these in one way or another, and that you can grab your timeline by the hands and draw it towards you, free of all of these little interjections as you go along. Notice the patterns. Pattern recognition is part of your clairvoyance as well. It's part of all psychic abilities, actually. And if you can do it with yourself, you're going to be much more powerful if you are to work with others as well. So I hope that this was a little bit helpful to you, maybe a lot. And let me know in the comments, is there something in particular that you're struggling with, would like to know more about, okay, or are curious about? Otherwise, I'm going to see you live on the 31st of January for our big webinar. I do these once a month, and they are structured to help us to awaken on the deepest levels. So I hope to see you there. All links will be in the comments below. All right, sending many blessings. Have an awesome day and talk to you soon. Bye for now.